Hi, welcome back. My name is Stephanie and I love all things plants. So today I thought that I will give you a quick tour of my plants on my plant wall. It's a really rainy day today and I was actually about to put my plants outside to enjoy the rain, but I thought before I do that, I'd give you a quick tour of my plant wall and you can see what's on here. I actually don't have that many plants on my plant wall. I used to have more, sort of disperse them throughout the house. So if you're interested in seeing what the wall looks like, keep watching. I'll start with how the wall came to be. So this plant wall is right off of our kitchen area. So I would love to take credit for this idea, but I can't. When we bought this house, the plant wall was actually already there. So the shelves were already installed by the previous owner. They used to have some plants here, and but they were painted black. So I didn't really like the black look. I felt like white would have looked a lot better and cleaner. So I took the boards down, the shelves down, and I painted them white. And I used a glossy white paint so that, you know, any water stains or watermark or dirt, soil will be able to wipe off easily. So that's what I did. And then I reinstalled the shelves back onto the wall. The wall is right next to a south facing window. So we have these sliding doors here and light comes in all day long. We live in Canada and so south facing actually has the most light. So the plants are really happy here. So let's start at the top. And I really love the way these cascade down. You wouldn't believe that when I started, they were nowhere near as long and they've grown quite a bit, and I cut them back every now and then, but it just continues to grow. So let's start at the top. This is actually a neon pothos, and I bought this plant when it was like this small. It wasn't hanging a lot, from a local plant shop. The more light it gets, the lighter yellow, I would say, the lighter the leaves look, and the less light it gets, the leaves are a bit more on the green side, like a deeper green color. But it still looks really nice, and it adds like a nice light color to the wall, and it goes all the way down to the floor over onto the other side, and it connects with the next pothos here. As you can tell, I really like pothos plants because they're actually quite easy to grow, they're low maintenance, and they're pretty happy plants. So this is a marble queen pothos. I really like it because it's variegated. It has, you know, splashes of like a cream color or white in some areas, and it's really pretty. Just like the neon pothos, when it doesn't get a lot of light, it does revert back to like a darker green color. And so if you look at it closely, you will notice that all the leaves on this side, they're a bit darker green, but all the leaves that are facing the sun, or facing the light, facing the windows, they're much more variegated, and they have the really nice color. I don't mind the blend, the mix. Yeah, so this one is also really happy. It goes all the way to the floor, connects with the neon pothos. I actually really like giving these as gifts to guests. So when we have visitors or like friends come over for dinner, I tend to take clippings or cuttings. I tend to give them cuttings of the plants as gifts, especially the kids. They really like watching the plants grow and watching it generate roots. I prefer to underwater than overwater my plants because I'm always nervous about overwatering them. So anyways, in the middle here, you could see that I have some test tube looking bottles here, and I actually got this from the dollar store. If you live in Canada, you will know about Dollarama. So I got this from Dollarama, and I actually often use it to propagate, to put cuttings in, to help them grow when they get a lot of light here. But I don't have any cuttings right now, so I just store them. So on the second row here, I have a watermelon peperomia, and I have sort of a bittersweet relationship with this plant. Sometimes it's doing great and sometimes not so much. So I just water it maybe every week and a half. It seems to have, let's see, it has 3 plants in there. Or is it 1? Or is it 2? I think it has 4. I think it actually has 4 plants in there. I got this pot from the dollar store, again, Dollarama. That's where I buy a lot of my plant pots. And yeah, I just put it in. This plant does not like to be transplanted at all. And one time I transplanted it and it was not happy. So it's just like staying in the same spot. So it's in the middle of my plant wall on this shelf. It has been here for like a year, and I don't move it. What I do every so often, I water it maybe once or every week and a half or so. And every so often I just rotate it, and then all the leaves come back on this side, and then it's happy again. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to rotate it because, as you can see, all the leaves are facing this way. And then that's it for this level or this shelf. I just keep some of my garden seeds, just a little container of garden seeds for my garden outside. Let me know if you're interested in seeing a video about that. And then just to add a pop of color, an artificial flower here. And because this is our kitchen, we have a fire extinguisher here, and I also have a spray bottle with rubbing alcohol and a clipper or a pair of shears. I keep it here, and I sanitize the shears every time I'm about to make a clipping because I don't want to spread bacteria to the mother plant whenever I take cuttings off of it. So that's it for this level. And then on the last shelf here, I have a propagated fiddly fig plant. This is from the mother plant. If you look at my on my channel, you'll see a video of the mother plant. And yeah, this little guy, I have been meaning to sell it, but I haven't had the heart to. So I just keep him here on this shelf, and I have a little tray that I put water in for it. It doesn't mind if I leave water in the tray. I know it looks pretty gross, but it's happy. And yeah, and then I have this Monstera Peru. This is, again, is a cutting that I made from the mother plant, and I propagated it. And yeah, it's all right. It's here. This will get a new home soon. My mom will be its new owner. And then in the corner here, I just have some dried grass and a planter for when I'm ready to transplant one of my plants. And then I have a jar here with some mini monsteras that I'm propagating. So they're already forming roots in there. They've been in there for about, I would say, maybe a month now. Just put them all together. Some grow, some don't. Oh, it looks like somebody's happy. It's putting out a new leaf here. And then this is another cutting that I put in here. I didn't want to chop it up because it just looks so good. So I just put it in here. Hopefully it will grow roots and I can pot it up soon. Start at the top on this side. Here I have another mini Monstera. The mother plant was actually looking really weak. I think I will find some pictures to show you where I started. Actually bought it from the plant shop, and it was so weak. It was so tired. I cut it up and I propagated it, and the mother plant grew really well. But then it started getting, it started getting tired. It started getting weak. I think I probably missed a few waterings, or maybe I put it in a spot in the house that it didn't like. So I took a few cuttings from it and I created a new plant just in case the mother plant didn't make it. And it did make it, thankfully. This little guy is very happy in this corner of my plant wall. Again, it's in a Dollarama pot, a pot from the dollar store, and it has a little stick in there to help it to grow. I try not to move it too much. I try not to move my plants too much unless I am cleaning them, but even then I try to keep them in place, especially if they're happy and they don't need to be moved. So I'm actually going to let it grow all the way up, and I might just let it do its thing and follow along on the ceiling. Anyways, so it's a similar story down below for this Monstera adansonii. I got a very weak mother plant from my plant shop, my local plant shop. I got one and I propagated it, And again, if you know Monstera adansonii, you know that they can be a picky plant if they don't have the right amount of humidity, and if they're watered, like they need to be watered just perfectly, or else you'll get like brown leaves. And because the leaves are also so thin, they're really delicate. They're not as thick, I would say, as the Monstera Peru. They're so thin and delicate that they get burnt very easily. So anyways, again, I propagated the mother plant in case it didn't make it. And this guy has been so happy in this spot. I've had it here for maybe a year in this spot, and I just keep, probably less than that, but anyways, I just keep rotating it, and it keeps pulling towards the light. So as you can see, this side is pretty bare and then it just pulls towards the light. The more light the Monstera adansonii and the Monstera, the Rhaphidophora tetrasperma, the mini Monstera, the more light they get, the more fenestrations or the more splits it will get in the leaves. So that's why I keep it right next to a south facing window, but not with any direct light hitting it, because it will burn the leaves. I do water this maybe once every week or week and a half. Sometimes I go 2 weeks without watering it. I'm pretty sure it doesn't like that, but again, I would rather underwater than overwater my plants. Pour just enough water so that this can get filled up. I know you're supposed to drain out water from the drainage here. I don't. It depends on the plant. Because I don't come back to water it very often, I actually just leave it here. And I think that my plants just get used to me leaving water there. But I wouldn't recommend it if you're new to plants. If you're learning your plant, some plants can handle it and some plants can't handle it well. So I recommend pouring it out instead of leaving it. But yes, usually when I water my plants, they're usually quite thirsty, so they don't mind if I leave water in here. I have another Peperomia in these very rough looking pots. I actually don't like when the pots do this. These are clay pots. I actually got these from, again, Dollarama. And yeah, I won't be buying any more. Like, that's gross. But this is, I think it's a Peperomia Frost. Yeah, this actually used to be fuller than this. The whole pot was like full. You couldn't even see the soil at one point. But I went camping and it didn't get watered. I guess I was a bit overconfident that it would be fine, and I lost like half of the plant. And this plant is prone to being overwatered very easily. It's a bit of a fussy plant. So I recommend keeping this plant in a clay pot, but you'll have to water it more often. But if it's in a plastic pot or in like a ceramic or glass pot, you'd probably have to water it a lot less. So anyways, these are the flowers. These are actually their flowers that they send out. So this one's happy for now until he turns on me. And so here I have a Monstera Peru. Like I said, I like to propagate them. I have a mother plant, and so I propagate these from the mother plant. Yeah, and sometimes I propagate to sell, and sometimes if I really like the plant, if it looks really cute, I keep it, and just to fill in spaces in my collection. And last but not least, at the bottom, if you're still around, thank you for watching. One of my favorite plants, it's a Ficus tineki, or some people call it a tiniki. There are 3 plants in this pot here. It loves a lot of sun. So this is a variegated plant. So again, variegated plants need lots of light in order to maintain their variegation. But again, not too much, because the plants make their food from the green parts of their leaves. And so if it doesn't have enough, then it can't make food. So anyways, this is a heavy feeder, so I fertilize this plant regularly and I water it about every week and a half, because this is a big planter and it's a clay planter. Sometimes I go 2 weeks without watering it, but because the plants, there are 3, but it's not that big. They're not that big, so they don't need to be watered as often. So I water it every week and a half or so. And this plant used to be perfect. Like, it used to be my prettiest looking plant. It had every leaf was perfect. I gave it so much care. And then I don't know if it got like a root fungus, or maybe I changed the location of where I had it placed and it didn't like it. And so I ended up getting a lot of brown spots along the edges. But that's just that's just a diary of our relationship. I don't mind that it's there. Before, at first it used to bother me and I used to cut out the parts of the leaves, but now I just leave it. It's just part of it. Growing really well. We have new growth coming along here, and I'm happy that each new leaf seems to be a little bit bigger. It's getting more growth here on the other one, so it's pretty happy. Stuck around this long. Thank you so much for watching. It turned out to be a much longer video than I thought it would have been. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give it a thumbs up if you do. And if you have any questions about how I care for them, or I don't know, if you have any questions or any suggestions, I love suggestions. I love feedback. If you know of how I can make my plant wall better or how I can better care for my plants, please share that with me. I'm open for feedback. And yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you next time for the next one. Bye.